Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of EQ in Action, Coaching the Whole Athlete. I'm your host, Tara Coleman, educator, coach, and just simply someone who believes that how we connect with our athletes emotionally is just as important on how we train them physically. All right, everybody, I want you to welcome my first ever guest to my first ever episode. I told you we was coming in hot. My first episode, I want to introduce you, Coach Brandon Butler. The accolades are off the charts. I'm just going to summarize and then I'm going to let him talk more about it. But I want you to welcome in a friend of mine, great guy, Coach Brandon Butler, nationally recognized sports performance coach. He received an award, the Positive Coaching Alliance Double Good Coaching Award. He's elected as one of the top 50 coaches in the nation for developing character and life skills through sport. He's a retired first sergeant with 20 years of distinguished military service. Thank you for your service, brother. What we know him for, he's known for his disciplined, athlete-centered approach that has produced numerous national top 10 athletes, state qualifiers, collegiate All-Americans, scholarship earners, and professional level competitors in multiple sports. Guided by the motto, train to improve, train to compete. Coach Butler, welcome to EQ in Action. Let's jump right in, brother.
Hey, thank you, Coach Coleman.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you do what you do.
Well, just a little bit about me. Like I say, first of all, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. I appreciate being on the show. I love what you're trying to do. One of the big things, man, everything starts from ground up, right? If we can reach our people that are dealing with the kids on a day-to-day basis, then we can affect positive change. And all we can do is do our part. And so I want to definitely take the time to just say thank you and for allowing me on your show. Just a little bit about me, man. I am a 20-year vet. I am a married man of 22 years. 22, 23, one of them, man. Make sure my wife don't open up the door in a minute. But we've been married for 22 years. We have 4 beautiful children. My oldest son is in the Air Force. My daughter is in UNT. She's about to graduate from college this year in May. My 17-year-old, he's a senior at Mansfield Lake Ridge, and he graduates this year also. And then our youngest son, the baby boy, Christian, he is a sophomore. I'm from City Hill, Texas, and my parents are very busy and very impactful within the community. My dad's a pastor out of West Dallas, Texas, and he also is a chaplain for the Dallas Police Department. And a lot of people ask me, why do I do what I do? I guess I couldn't run from it. I've seen it throughout my whole life. It's funny because my dad just never sits down. He's 74 years old. He still doesn't sit down. I'm still trying to figure out how to keep up with him. I wound up being a walking twin to him. And so I'm blessed to have the opportunity to still have my parents in the land of the living. I retired in 2020 and we moved back to Texas in 2022. We stay in Mansfield, Texas, of course, and we're 15 minutes down the road, man. So if they need something, we can go grocery shop. They need us to just dig a path out the snow, or just to say, hey, look, pick me up. Let's go to Whataburger or Chick-fil-A. We can do that, man. So I'm blessed with that opportunity, man. I'm a family person. I tell people, man, my family, whether it's my kids and my wife, or my parents and my aunties and uncles, that's helped develop me to the person I am today. As I getting older, I try to make sure that I always give back to what helped me be who I am today. It's a blessing, and I can still go work out with my dad every Friday. He still think he can do every weight in the thing, but just the ability to be able to move around. My mom is probably one of the sweetest ladies you ever meet. She'll give you the shoes off her feet and her last shirt off her back. And I'm blessed, man. And like I said, this upcoming May, I have my oldest son getting married in May. The last week of May, my 17-year-old graduating the third week of May, and then my daughter graduating college the second week of May. So, Coach, we might have to do another podcast in June to say, where is Coach Butler? Because I might be on vacation for a whole month, bro. I need a break.
All right.
So,
Sound like a mate to remember.
yeah,
We're going to jump right in, Coach. If you would,
yeah.
man, just out of curiosity, you talk to me, we converse a lot, and I love every bit of it. If you would, can you just tell the people a little bit about your athlete development philosophy, your mindset when it comes to developing athletes?
First of all, I believe that you develop the person, not the athlete first. And there's no one size fits all for every athlete, man. Every athlete's different. And I think that's another big thing that we'll probably go into later on with the EQ, just understanding the ability to understand the person and getting the best of them. So, man, I start with the foundation, man. The foundation gears with a lot of different things where you just understand the athlete, understanding what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go. Also see if they're serious, because a lot of times, man, you have parents more serious than the athletes. You have to be able to deal with that in different avenues, because I always tell I'm a trainer, I love to train all, but I can't train everybody. Everybody can't train with me. It's not because I reject them, it's just because my expectations are high. And if the athlete, the person itself doesn't have a buy-in, and it's mainly the parent buy-in, it's hard to move forward. But my training philosophy, man, just, understanding the foundation, building proper mechanics, body control and coordination, mobility and joint integrity, understanding the why behind why you're training. When you're in the weight room, what how do we change the intentionality of the movement and what you do so it can correlate to what you're going to do outside on your field of play? Understanding why I do certain things. Because if you don't have that buy-in as an athlete and you don't understand why, then we just going through the motion. I always believe that I want my athletes to be in a position where it don't matter where they go, they know that person is gonna be different. I have kids, a lot of different kids in different in places. I want you to be able to excel to the next level, and the coach or trainer look at you and say, "Man, you have the foundation touched in, and somebody really taught you and trains you. You know the why and how to, whether it's speed development day, whether it's block days, whether working max velocity, accelerations, whatever. That's my training philosophy. That there's no one size fits all. We try to develop these kids, or we develop in them as young men and women through sports. And hey, look, let's figure out what makes this kid tick. Let's figure out what they know, and then we know where to go. It's not a one quick fix, it's a process, just like life is, right? But I can go down that rabbit hole all day because I love what I do, and I love what the training does to these young men and women, because I've had kids, man, from 5 on up to now 22, 23 years old, man. And I'm about to have my first 2 kids going to the draft. And then above all, the kid had to have that mindset that they were willing to go through their journey to get to where they're trying to get to. And so yeah, hopefully I ain't go around the world, coach. But that's my training philosophy, man. As far as building the foundation for the athletes.
That's cool. I saw your standard. On here it says encourage, empower, elevate. And that's your standard.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. First question, how do you define EQ in your coaching?
So EQ. So it's funny, man, because I would actually give props to my wife, man. She helped me out with the EQ as far as the empathy I have for athletes, man, because a lot of times we can't see ourselves, man. So
Right.
my way of relating with athletes was different because of how I was brought up. And then also when I really getting into training, I was in the military. I was a high level as a leader in the military. So all I knew was let's execute. When athlete might have certain issues, I hear them, but I wasn't hearing them. I would say, hey man, look, I got it. You had a bad day, but everybody has a bad day. You got to continue moving. And so some people, some kids, some even I train adults too. Some people I work with, a lot it didn't. So it took my wife having to say, hey, babe, and my wife has always been heavily involved with on the back end. And we communicate a lot. When I had my track program in Kentucky, she was always the ultimate team mom. When I coached middle school, I coached Pop Warner. She was always the team mom. She was always around, right? And so she was able to see my blind side. And so she was able to help me identify certain things in reference to help me where I am now. I'll describe EQ as the ability to read an athlete and understand an athlete before you coach an athlete. Just that ability to get to know the person, right? And what makes them tick and have those questions. Also the ability to be able to still keep a standard, still keep the expectations and the standard, but it might be different ways you go about it to get the end result. just because every kid, every person is different. I deal with kids who have one parent homes, single parent homes. I have kids that somebody maybe passed away. I have kids who have how mom and dad at home, but at the same time, mom and dad's not really there because they're working so much. I have deal with parents that have with kids that have just the grandparents. You have a lot of different situations, and you have some where the parent or the mom or dad are both very overbearing. So I know I have an expectation for my athletes, and I know at times I can be hard on them. But if I know that they have that on a day-to-day basis at home, it's certain ways I might go about my business with that athlete because I also understand that they need another outlet. And this, I might be that outlet. 9 times 10, I'm that outlet. And then also my wife has helped me out a lot with the empathy piece because if I have a young lady that needs the relatability. She might come, if I'm training in the garage, she come to the train, I say, hey, I tell them about the kid, and she'll come in and build a relationship with that young lady. And she can get, now it's like a team. We're working together as a team to get the ultimate piece. But it's just the ability to understand what an athlete is feeling and understand how to push them, when to push them, and then how much is enough and how much is too much, right? And so that's why my understanding EQ and how I relate it to my training on a day-to-day basis, because it just first starts off just getting to know that kid, right? From the time they even get out the car. And also EQ is not just the athlete, but also really getting to know the parents too, or having some type of relationship with the parents. I know it takes a village, creating a relationship with the parents. That way you can have the kids feel comfortable and the parents feel comfortable and say, hey, look, if you can't talk to me about, I've had plenty of situations where somebody say, man, hey, mom, dad, I just need another outlet. Can I call Coach Butler? Okay, cool. I know what Coach Butler's about,
Yeah.
right? And I know he's gonna give you the hard truth, and but he'll understand who you are. And then coming back and double back and say, hey, look, I talked to such and such, right? It wasn't nothing major, nothing life threatening, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm an outlet for he or she. And then the last thing is my way of relating it with is to build a relationship outside of just the sport.
Yes.
So meaning that like my kids, all my athletes will tell you, matter of fact, I owe them, if they hear this podcast, they gonna be like, yup, coach,
Hey,
I owe them a
hey,
barbecue. Cause most time we do end of the year barbecues or at the beginning of the year barbecues at the house. I make some ribs or some chicken or something like that. My wife always throw that with her macaroni. And so we'll always do those things. My dad would come over, I have a few men come over that pray over the kids, and they just let the kids just play. They play the games, but building that relationship outside of the lines where they can just see that, hey man, coach is human. You know what I mean? Like I might just in the middle of my session go from 100 down to 0 and just start dancing in the middle of a session. They be like, coach, what is that? Because I want them to understand, hey man, ain't nothing personal, and I'm human.
right.
I like to have a good time, and I like the bond, but there's a time and place for everything. But I want them to have some type of relatability with me so that I can get the best out of him, all aspects.
That's great right there, coach. I'm going to
Yes, sir.
just jump right off that last statement. Can you share a moment when EQ helped you connect with a certain athlete?
Sure. I had an athlete that I was pretty familiar with, and we've been training for years. And all of a sudden, man, it's just the kid is the sessions were off, and it was a session that was really off where his mind was just somewhere else. Come to find out that his uncle, who was very close to, had passed, and he passed at a young age. And so it's just all of a sudden, man, I was on that kid pretty good in the session where I had to stop, and we just literally just stopped and said, hey man, what's going on? He opened up to me. He was tearing up and everything. And then we just had to shut training down and just, I had to now be a person to listen, also get an understanding of what his uncle meant to him. And because when the kid was close, I already knew that he had a relationship with the uncle, and the uncle he wasn't close here in Texas. Just the fact of the matter that me and this kid had a good bond. And I knew his work ethic, but I also knew when something was off. But at the same time, instead of closing his feelings, he was able to relate to me and talk to me and say, "Hey, coach, this happened, and this is how I felt about my uncle." And then we were just able to just share that moment all the way up to the time we had the funeral. We called, we talked, this and that, until he got through with that situation. Then now, from time to time, we just have small conversations about his family member. If it was all about business and he knew it was all about business, I would have never knew what was going on, and our relationship probably would have separated because his uncle really mean a lot to him, and he's a family oriented kid. And to not have the ability to share that moment with him might have deterred our relationship for future. But I had to know the kid, know what makes him tick, and then understand, man, something's not right. It's not that he's just having a bad day. It's not that he doesn't want to do the work. It's the fact of the matter, he has something really detrimental that just happened. And now the great thing about it is once track leaves him or he leaves track, he can always relate an uncomfortable situation to what he's doing in life and say, man, you know what? If I got past that, I sure enough can get past this. If I got past this, I can go and get past that. And now you making better young men, better husbands, better fathers, because everybody go through something.
Get
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's the part as a coach or trainer, mentor, that we have the ability. Our one word can either make or break. Do you have the ability to where a kid say, hey man, look here. An athlete say, hey, Coach Coleman said this, bro. He said, jump off this roof and look here, I don't care what you see, I got you. Do you have that ability to like say, man, like, hey, Coach got me. I might not see it, but he got me. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty, man, of being a coach, man, but a trainer, man, and just the EQ. And it's funny, man, because it wasn't until you brought the question to me in reference to what's EQ. I was like, I don't know what EQ is. I had to look it up. Like, what's EQ? But then, like, okay, I understand. Like, I understand. And this is something that we incorporate. And coaches like you and I, and there's a lot of other coaches that we've connected to. And, that's the beauty of it all, man. When you can see kids that you see in one space 1 minute, and then years later, you like, man, coach, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the man or father I am today. Or if it wasn't for you showing me what right looks like, I wouldn't be making the decisions I am today, man. I mean, I be passionate about this, man. I be answering
All right.
about 10 questions out at once, man. So,
Yeah, he did. But hey, gonna lead me to my next one.
um,
Gave me the one where you lit into the guy because he was a little off, and you realized that,
mhm,
but you went back. You was the man that he needed at the moment, and that's one thing.
mhm.
It's a book, and I'm gonna send you that book. At the moment, we have to be that man at the moment those kids need us. My question is, and I always wondered this, with your high level military background, high level discipline, everything, how do you balance the discipline with the empathy?
It's really, I think it works hand in hand, man. It's really having your standard. And at the end of the day, with the empathy, that doesn't mean the standard goes away. You still have your standard. And when what I've learned throughout the years is that when people watch you, whether they watch you from the outside or they deal with you as you're training them and you're impacting them, they know your standard, right? They know what you expect from them. Some people don't want to rise up to that expectation, and some people are good with the expectation. But at the end of the day, when you create that relationship and people get to know you, you know them, you still keep the standard. It just might be different ways you going about business to get to their end result, but the standard's still there. The discipline still has to be there because at the end of the day, we're trying to get them to a level that they need our assistance to get there. And now some might be it takes a year. Some of them might be 2, 3, 4 years. It's just a whole process. Everybody goes through their own journey. I was talking to an athlete this morning about the transfer portal and the way recruiting is. Man, you it's really this is so key right now because a lot of kids are missing out or leaving from their dreams because they don't see it right now. So you having a conversation with them, but you have to have a way to navigate with them to say, hey man, don't miss all your dreams because you didn't get that D1 or that high level offer right now. And now you're over here, man, I'm done. It's over. Because everybody has their own journey. Because we see it all the time, but we only hear the 5-star recruits and the other big thing that I went to this school. But we don't understand that Indiana's a prime example of what just happened.
Exactly.
Mendoza's a prime example. He probably go first in the draft. Prime example. And so understanding, man, there still is a standard to be upheld. You still uphold that standard in the military. Man, you have people from, I'm from Texas. But man, I got in basic training, man, I met people from Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, New York. I had never stepped foot out of Texas. And I meet all these people, man. Some people talking about yo, some people talking about jit, some talking about me. You like, man, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? And I'm over here saying y'all. But at the end of the day, we come from different walks of life, but there still was a standard that we had to hold. They said, hey, look, you gonna cut your hair because I want everybody to be uniform. This is the standard. No ifs, ands, or buts. There was no, hey, nah, man, come, hey, look, Sergeant, I don't got these waves, I'm trying to keep, no. It's a standard.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm light skinned, when I shave, I bump. No, here's a razor, there's a standard. You know what I'm saying? If you can't operate out this standard, then you gotta go. So understanding this way, and then also I was raised, my dad should have been a drill sergeant, and we know with the old school, man, like here, do as I say, no if, ands, or but. And if you think about talking back, it wasn't gonna be pretty for you. You figure, okay, at the end of the day, how do I draw the line in the sand to figure out my standard? Understanding this is my standard, this is my expectations. While I do that, while I draw that line of stand, everybody needs to know that. But at the same time, I have to take every person for who they are and get an understanding of who they are, not bring my standard down, but also understand that, man, I have to be able to figure out how do I navigate every person to get the end result, to get their end result,
Correct.
to go through their journey, not mine. Not like Johnny can't get it like Sue and Sue can't get it like Johnny. Everybody's different. Everybody have different walks of life. That's how I see it, just taking that piece, but still having that standard, getting it, and then understand how to communicate. Communicate, and then just be transparent. The why, I mentioned it earlier, I kind of correlate a lot of different things with my training because the same way I'm teaching you the why for your training, I also want to pull you to the side and understand the why behind what I am trying to do for you.
Yeah.
So if you understand and have a buy-in, you're like, okay, dang, coach is just, he just on one for no reason. No, man, I want to find a time when I don't have that time at the beginning, I don't have that time during the session, but I do have a time. There's always that sweet spot that we can just say, hey man, I just want to let you know, man, coach, I'm not on you because I just had a bad day. I'm on you because I see something in you.
Correct.
And then when they know that you believe in them, you get that kind of that glare in their eye. And then now I have, and this is my standard. I believe in you, this is my standard, and this is how we get to this next level. And it only makes it better when sometimes you correlate certain things.
Right.
I don't know, this maybe just a thing, but it's always been DBs who have definitely rose to a higher level throughout my years of kids that I work with. So once you get to a point where you get those kids to a certain level and you're able to correlate and say, hey man, I'm on you, but I seen a kid just like you 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid about to go to the draft. But I see the same things in you. Now they're like, oh really? Maybe it ain't that bad. You know what I mean? Because now the history or your previous speaks for itself. So it's okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then once they get to know you more, they're like, man, hey, he's genuine. He just has a standard and expectations.
Right.
But through that, you build a confidence within themselves and within y'all relationship.
That's cool. So I
Yes,
got
sir.
one more topic I want to
Mhm.
bring to you is a collaboration spotlight. I'm gonna have that every week. Just want to talk about the importance of collaborating, like between school coaches and trainers. In your opinion, why is collaboration important for the athlete's success between school coaches and trainers?
Man, it's huge, man. You know firsthand, you and I can mention on the podcast, man, Antonio Gill, man. Antonio was just with me earlier. Antonio was your athlete, Antonio was my athlete, but our collaboration and transparency amongst what we was doing, man, it helped that young man tremendously. Man, that kid is like number 6 in the state, 14 in the nation, running 6.6s at 60, and as a 14-year-old baseball athlete, one of the top shortstop. But our relationship to talk, to say, hey man, all right, Coach Coleman's doing this with you today. I might have a plan on Monday, but if he's doing with it, I can't control that. But when you and I were able to double tap communication with Antonio to help him, man, it was tremendous because I was able to work with him on my end and view the things that you had for him while he was at school. So we was helping him with his enhancement of his performance. And then we also were able to help him above all with his recovery. Because a lot of these athletes don't have the recovery piece because they just go hard, hard, hard every single day. But we also understand the recovery piece is the part where you really grow. Man, I would tell you, man, I told you before, man, I appreciate you because a lot of times those things don't happen with the collaboration because it's either my word or nowhere. And especially with you because I can tweak mine, but it's harder for you to tweak yours because you're dealing with a whole group. But it's been plenty of times where you know that, hey, Antonio is about to get ready for a showcase, or Antonio got this, and that. So you're like, man, I might have him doing some other stuff differently to help him because I know what he's trying to do. And that's admirable because you're like, I'm understanding the athlete, not just my agenda. You know what I'm saying? It paid off greatly for that young man over the 2 years that he was with you, and now he's in high school. Matter of fact, I need to figure out how to cross talk with the coach over there so we can figure something out too. Because in high school, a little bit more challenging too. But at the end of the day, man, I believe collaboration is essential because anybody who's against the collaboration of cross talking for the best of the athlete doesn't have the athlete's best interest at hand.
I feel this.
You have your own personal agenda at hand, or you don't know how to tweak your stuff because it goes back to what I believe there's no one size fits all for everybody. So if I got a template in January that I'm gonna do for somebody in August, and I don't even know the athletes that I have going on, then something wrong with that picture. I need to be able to. I might have a basis,
Right.
but I can't be like restricted to this because the kids in a whole might need more of something that you have within your script. And we all know, man, we have those, especially the way sports is now, that it's a little bit different, man. Like travel ball, especially in baseball, it's big, man. Like these kids, sometimes kids are at baseball more than in school.
It's
You got,
for tournament volleyball, baseball, they do softball.
mhm, yeah. And so it's crazy. Then you got the track football guys trying to balance between the two. You have track guys still lifting like football athletes,
Oh my God.
right?
I'm not gonna.
You figuring out, okay, man, and then you might have a parent that hit you, hey, I want to get some extra work. You be like, hey, no, man, like they doing this, and that. Like we can get some mobility work, but if you want them to walk out of my spot, they can't touch their head and this and that, and you like, yeah, man, they had a great session. Nah, bro, we actually contradicting what we're trying to do. That's a whole nother thing because you have people that are like, man, I want my kid to get faster, but then I want you to go out there and let's just go run repeats all day. Well, that's easy,
Right.
right? But you say you want them to get faster, or which do you want? Coach, I don't think you're working hard enough, bruh.
Okay.
Did Usain Bolt go out there back to the fence line and run a 9.58 again? He never did. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just, and then I think above all with collaborations, you're able to double tap with other experienced coaches and get other views
Mhm.
of training because everybody has a different perspective. And sometimes when we're in that square, we can't see it. We're like, hey man, coach, why don't you think about this? And think about how to do it like this and go about it doing it this way, right? Instead of saying it gotta be done like this. So yeah, collaborations is good. Collaboration is great, man. As long as, especially if coaches are willing to talk amongst each other for the best of the athlete. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
That kid, man, well, it was a tough decision. The kid, if I was like some others, that's the best athlete in my building. The best athlete in my building, hands down. Wasn't even close. 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
And so 8th grade, he was the fastest kid I had in the building. He wanted to run track so bad. He wanted to run track, and his dad wanted him to run track because he didn't get to do much because of all his training and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of those situations I had to sit down with dad, and I ultimately made the decision and told the kid no. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason wasn't because this kid got all this training and he's gonna miss this practice and that practice. That wasn't the issue. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
this kid is a high-ranking kid. He has a bright future, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that I wanted, track and field, man, you can just get soft tissue injury in the warm-up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last thing I felt he needed at the time, especially going to high school, I felt he had a big summer coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing he needed was a setback. And with track
Right.
and field, it's just one of those sports that eventually you're gonna have a setback for whatever
Mhm.
reason. And so
Yeah.
that's what made me make that decision, man.
Yeah.
I love that kid to death. That kid gave me a baseball at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the 7th grade year. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"You better hold on to it." I said, "Ah,
Yeah.
it's in the case right now." He signed
Yeah.
everything. It's in the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a testament to your the coach and stuff, and it's just your selfless because man, I would tell you, man, the average coach probably because you talking about that kid would have shoot your relay team especially would have been on all cylinders.
right,
And so that's selfless, man, because you were willing to say, hey man, for the better benefits of this, your future, man, we just gonna make it happen. We'll make it happen. We could make it be a lot better with you, but at the same time, it's about you. It's not about the team in this aspect.
right,
It's about what you trying to do with your future because that's your main sport.
right.
Baseball is main sport, and it's cool. But like you said, man, now you gotta live with the fact that man, like, dang, did I just count this kid? And now you looking back, I'll tell you, yeah, definitely keep that baseball. I hope you got a signature because that kid going for him.
Already know.
Yeah, yeah,
He signed it and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, but yeah, really, really good kid. Really good kid off the field, man. But yeah, I appreciate the relationship we built, and especially through that young man.
I had to stay on
Just
him
communicate.
because,
Mhm.
you know Antonio, he's a workaholic, man. He just
Yeah,
like, I gotta do this, I gotta get better, I gotta get better.
yeah.
And I appreciate you echoing the same thing that I was echoing to him.
Mhm.
Dude, you gotta have some recovery. That's why finally I was like, okay, this kid's not gonna help himself. Butler and I is gonna have to do this. And that's
Yeah.
why I was like, no, I'm not gonna let him keep trying to sneak between me and you so he can get extra work instead of recover.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, 'cause he saw that joke be working. He was like, "Hey, man, Wendy, I talked to him today." He like, "Hey, man, what you do?" I come so oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, that's the beauty, man. And when you look back, man, and see I think the good thing about it is going off your gut and it's a person you are. And we like, man, I'm glad I made that decision for the best of that person.
Right,
Right. And that's what it's about, man. I think, man, as it becomes, I don't know, it becomes frustrating at times, man, as a coach, and especially when you have a lot of kids that you invest in and just, or even the kids that you don't train, but you just because you're in that hat, kids relate to you, they come to you, you know what I'm saying? They probably can't even go to a game when you're talking to kids, man, whether it's young males or females or
right,
parents. The game is becoming so, just political. It's taking the fun out of some of the things that the kids do
Correct.
when they forgetting about just control the controllables, man. Let's go out there and do your work. Enjoy what you do. Allow what you do to relate to what you plan on doing for life. And that's my big push now, man.
Correct. That's me when I'm sitting there telling the kids on the field, control their emotions. And I tell my coaches all the time, that's my challenge every year. That's my struggle, you know,
Mm-hmm.
control my emotions. And,
Mm-hmm.
man, in practice, I'm a different coach than I am in the game because I feel like they got enough pressure on them in the game. I'm more laid back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
In practice, I'm eating them up. I'm eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, coach, I appreciate it, man. We about 2 minutes. So I'm going to give you that time. If you had any advice for a young coach on how to develop EQ and why it's important, can you give them a nugget, please?
I would say 3 things, man. Build trust. You can build a trust. The second will be once you build a trust, you have buy-in. Create a way to create buy-in with your student athletes as a coach and trainer, mentor. And then don't think short term, think long term. Think about the long term piece of the development process. I always use this, I'm a relatability guy because that's just how I learn. I learn through doing and seeing. I got to see, I got to put my hands on it. I always go to this correlation of saying, man, a seed has to go through something, right, to be that beautiful flower or tree. But it has to go through a process. And that process is not overnight. Man, it's a long-term process. And it has to be willing to go through something, to die, to get there. But then all of a sudden, when that tree is there, and there's something you just talked about as far as the things you just got to go through, once it's built, that foundation is built, and it goes through something. It could withstand anything later on, but it had to go through a process. And so those things, man, it's building the trust, creating the buy-in, and understand it's a long-term process, a long-term development process. And that doesn't mean within time. That means that you're trying to develop your student athletes now for what they can do for future. Build a foundation in the sports realm, but also create that thought process and development within life to get the best out of that young man or woman, all aspects. And if you can tap into both, that's where it's at. You got a friend for life, you got an athlete for life, you got you're building, and then your legacy now moves on, right? Not thinking about the short term. The short term folds, right? The short term folds, okay? I mean, I can go out there and it's certain things I can do on the speed ramp to get you fast right now,
Right.
but how would you be when you get to college? Can you withstand certain things? Man, I know I do a quick fix, but can you withstand that? Right? It's certain things I can say to you right now to get a band-aid on your on life situations. But how can we create thought process to help get you
Through the
to
future.
be a better person? And also understanding that everybody's different, man. I got 4 kids, man. And all 4 of my kids are different. And I had, matter of fact, I probably should start off with that EQ with our kids because all of them are different. You mean my oldest son is different, my daughter's different, third child, Noelle is definitely different, and then my fourth one is different. The standard's still there, but how I come about with them is totally different. My oldest two, shoot, they think that them younger two get away with daggone everything. You know what I'm saying? But I had to come with them a different way to get them where they need to be, but the standard's still there. It's never changed. It's just the way we went about it was just a little bit different. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I say, trust, buy-in, long-term thought process development. That would be our recommendation to the coach.
I appreciate you being on, coach.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the time.
And I think this one is going to go for a while. But a
Yes, sir.
few seconds left. Little challenging question for you.
Mm-hmm.
2 words, okay? 2 words. If I see a beast mode athlete, a B3 athlete, give me 2 words that I'm going to see.
So, B3 athlete. Man, yeah, you definitely put me on the spot. 2 words. Dang, they different.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, yeah. Dang, yeah, you put me on the spot. It's 2 words. Yeah, I'd
Two
say they
good
different.
words.
Yeah, they different. Yeah. Not no one that just came overnight now, but
Yeah,
yeah, those that withstand the process, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they different, man.
that's cool,
So,
man.
yeah, man.
Every week, we're going to tap into our EQ toolbox. Every week, we'll have a different tip to try to help coaches relate to their kids, get a little EQ going. Just 3 minutes of practice time. I don't think they cost you much. Beginning of practice, it's called a 3-minute check in. The 3-minute check in, you just have a paper up, have an athlete to rate their mood, and then have them to share one word describing how they're feeling. You take those words, you take that rating. We go out, warm up is happening. I'm walking around. I get to that kid, say he gave me a 2, and his mood is frustrated. I go and talk to that kid. I can converse with him. Why are you frustrated today? What's got you at number 2? And kid get some things off his chest, frustrate. I walk to the next kid. Same thing. I just engaged emotional quotient. I just build a relationship with that kid. That small moment just let me see that kid for a person, not as an athlete. And people appreciate that. All right. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you enjoyed this episode, what is EQ? Subscribe to my YouTube page. Our next episode is going to be building trust through empathy. You won't want to miss it. Trust me, it's going to be great. Until then, keep coaching the whole athlete.